What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Fantasy Football Game Show, brought to you by Front Yard Fantasy here on Better Sports Network. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my rambunctious co-hosts, Joey Wright and John Luke Garofalo. What's up, boys?
Oh, man.
Enjoyed the weekend here with my favorite people and Simon.
And me.
Well, you were there with Simon?
Joining us today, we have a special guest coming on to play some fantasy fortune with us. Our friend Chew Russell is here. For those of you that do not know Chew, you can find him on Twitter at Father Dynasty. And his name tells you what you need to know about this dude. He's a writer over at Going For Two and the host of the Father Dynasty podcast. Chew, thank you so much for taking the time to come on with us today.
Thank you for having me, and I'm looking to be a little rambunctious myself.
Yeah.
Whoa, watch out.
Me and Chew already have a lot in common, guys, with our no longer Panthers jerseys on the wall behind us. He's got a nice little collection.
Panthers.
I'm starting mine, the McCaffrey, Kuechly, and Moore squad right here.
Also will help you with any sort of lawsuits that you need.
more. More Kuechly and McCaffrey. Attorneys at law. No longer on the Panthers law firm.
Panthers at law.
Unless you're on the Panthers. We got some people in the chat ready for today's show. Craig over here said, okay, chat, which of these fine competitors do we think is going to rustle up a win today? Dave in here with the let's go. What's up, Dave? Welcome in, my friend. And Dustin,
what up, Dave?
My guy, Chew. But still, hashtag Team Joey.
I feel like we need Team Joey t-shirts.
You feel like you need Team Joey.
We'd sell one. I know we would sell one, and that's good.
Joey's mom.
Dame in here with the hell of
all.
What's up, Dame? Welcome in, my friend.
Dame.
And also,
what up, Dame?
Dave in here with a shout out for our friend Chew. So Chew's interviews are incredible, grounding, and hilarious. Very enjoyable overall. So make sure you guys head over to Chew's Twitter and check out the interviews that Dave's talking about. We got Scampers in the chat, our favorite chat cat, and he said hashtag team host. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
It's like rooting for the referees. What kind of BS is that, Scampers?
Ever.
You're better than that.
We got Jay in the chat says, howdy, FYF fam. What's up, Jay? Welcome in, my friend. And
howdy to you and your fam.
Says, I would totally buy one. There you go, Joey. You got two sales. Yeah. The one that you buy yourself and the one that Dustin buys.
Oh, I don't know if that was a shot, but that's true. I would buy one.
We're selling two of them. Guys, today we brought Chew here to play a game with us, a game that we call Fantasy Fortune. Before we get into that, though, a couple reminders. First and foremost, if you're not already following our guest Chew over on Twitter, go and fix that right now. Follow and father are really close words. And whenever you say them close to each other, it just comes on out. If you don't father our guest already on Twitter, go and follow him right now at Father Dynasty. Check out the stuff that he's creating over at Going For Two and the Father Dynasty podcast. After you do that, head on back over here. And if you're watching on our YouTube channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It is the easiest way to make sure you don't miss us at our new old time, 3 p.m. Eastern time every day, where we're playing games. If you like games, so do we. We're here.
Yeah. We're great.
You like games, Joe, or am I lying?
No, I love games.
See, I knew it. You guys thought I was lying, and I was telling the truth the whole time.
You gotcha.
Also, guys, it is NFL Draft Week, and great news here on BSN. We got you guys covered. So every day you can listen here on BSN for rookie profiles, rankings, NFL team needs, mock drafts, and more. So join us for live coverage of the draft Thursday and Friday night right here on Better Sports Network, on the app, on the .com, and on wherever else you can find us. Better Sports Network for the NFL Draft. You guys ready to jump into this game of Fantasy Fortune?
Let's just get into it.
Let's do it. I'm going to pull this screen up for today's game, and then we are going to go ahead and get started. I'll explain the rules, and we'll start the game. The game is a lot like the popular TV show Wheel of Fortune, but with an NFL or fantasy twist. Contestants, instead of spinning a wheel, are going to be answering 50-50 questions about the NFL or fantasy football. Get your question right, you're going to get to guess a continent that you think appears in the puzzle. Get it wrong, we move on to our next contestant. Now, you can do this up to 3 times in a turn. That is, answer a question right, get a letter right. If at any point either of those are wrong, your turn is over. Or if you get 3 in a row correct, your turn will also be over. But good news, you're going to bank that money. That money is going to go from your round bank into your total bank. So that money is safe if you can do the trivia. Now, during your turn, there are 2 other things you can do at any time before a question has been asked. You can choose to purchase a vowel. You'll need a minimum of $500, and it's going to cost $100 per instance, up to a max of $500. Or you can solve the puzzle. At any time, just say, I'd like to solve the puzzle. You will earn a minimum of $1,000 or the amount in your round bank. Whichever one's higher, we're going to go ahead and move that down. Now, we're going to do this until we run out of puzzles or run out of time, at which point the contestant with the most money is our Fantasy Fortune champion for today. And we'll go home with everything they've earned in pools cash. You guys ready?
Let's go.
Yes.
Yeah, buddy.
Let's do it. We got some people in the chat waiting for us to get started. Scott Fish over here.
Hey,
Hey guys,
Scott.
a question regarding Joey.
Yeah.
Are you aware of the laws regarding his employment? You will be soon. Lawyers have been contacted.
Okay. Look forward to hearing from him.
See, what you didn't consider, though, is that Joey considers himself a sovereign citizen. And so he doesn't abide by the laws of the United States. So we don't have to follow U.S. employment law when employing him either.
Ambassador rules.
I'm actually leaving FYF today and starting a TikTok where it's just me getting pulled over for being a sovereign citizen and arguing with cops.
No, sir.
I actually can go 85 here.
Yes. Yeah, no, I'm a sovereign citizen. I don't have to abide by any of these laws.
Nation of Joey, right
and
here.
I roll down my window
car.
this much.
And by that same note, we can pay him in peanuts. It all works out. We got Scampers in the chat says it's more like rooting for Trebek is what team host is.
Well, I would never.
Joe, I have to ask you because I feel like how did you feel about Trebek's presence on Jeopardy? Was it supportive or was it condescending? Because I feel like there are two camps when it comes to did Trebek sound condescending or did he sound supportive of the contestants?
I think at a certain point he got a little more soft and a little more supportive, but like at least 80% of the time it was condescending, but it was great for people watching.
Perfect. In his early days, Trebek got kind in his old age, but when young Trebek was out there just roasting people.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for pronunciations and everything. It's like, I'm sorry you added an S. I'm going to go ahead and take away $3,000.
It was actually limoncello. Every time. Every freaking time.
I always love whenever he overpronounces things. Like whenever the answer is mozzarella and he's like, actually, it was mozzarella. And then he moves on. Like, Trebek, you've never said it that way in your entire life until it showed up on the card. RIP. I miss Trebek. We got Victor in the chat. Said, good afternoon, bro chachos. I miss Robin Big 2, Jail and Simon. Smash that like button.
Good. So
Peak
good.
television. We got Shraggy in the chat. What's up, Shraggy? Welcome in, my friend. And Albert down here saying hello, everyone. What's up, Albert? Glad to have you.
Albert. Hi, Albert.
Because we're going to go ahead and get into this game here. Remember all the rules I just told you?
Yep.
Well, forget all of them because this first round is going to be a little bit different. This first round is going to be a toss-up puzzle. How this is going to work is I'm going to slowly reveal letters that are in this NFL player's name. When you think you know the player name, say your own name. Yell it, scream it, shout it, whisper it. As long as I hear it, it doesn't matter. If you're the first person to say your name, you get to take a shot at this puzzle. One shot, though, because if you get it wrong, you're out for this round. Whoever gets it's going to get $500 and the opportunity to go first in our next round. One last reminder, if you're in the chat, play along. Throw your guesses in the chat. We'll shout you out if you're right. We'll mock you if you're very wrong. And because of that, our contestants need to make sure that you guys are in the private chat or have this full screened so that you can not see those comments coming in because they're pretty smart. They usually get it. All right, you guys ready for me to start revealing letters here?
Mm-hmm.
Say your name when you think you know the player.
Jail.
I heard Joey's name first. It was very close. Photo finish. Joey, who is this?
Samaje P. Ryan.
Joey, this is Samaje P. Ryan. Going to earn you $500 into your round bank. You're going to go ahead and bank that as well. And before we move on.
I like how no one thought people in the chat would notice me fighting with my chair that whole time 2 minutes ago.
Did you win?
No. It's all in the weird position now. It's all messed up.
The chairs are 2-0 against FYF in the past week because I don't know if anybody's noticed, but I'm sitting about 3 feet lower than I usually do.
Fix it?
No, it's broken. It's not fixable. My chair, the hydraulic system in my chair to move it up and down has broken, and so now I'm just stuck all the way at the bottom. I feel like a little kid at my dad's desk or something, pretending to be a business guy. Or I have to have the most cushioned butt of all time. The chat was on this one. We had Samaje P. Ryan from Dustin in there. Nice job. And Dustin and Jay also with the wrong answer of Saquon Barkley and Austin Eckler.
I almost did Justin Fields no letter solve, but I think we all know how that turned out last week when I tried to do that. So,
and it would have been the same this week. Before we move on from this, I did want to ask you guys about Samaje P. Ryan. Joey, you were a big believer with his new position, but there have been some recent moves there. What do you think about Samaje P. Ryan heading into next season?
I still like him to start the season off. I'm cooling off a little bit on him, though. I do think the Broncos are probably going to address their running back in the draft. And I do like a lot of the running backs and probably the first 10 running backs. Any of those end up on Denver, and I think that they could play a role and really cut into what I was thinking Samaje Perine was going to start off with. But he's going so late that I'm still drafting him to start my teams off for the season for sure in redraft.
Makes sense. Chew, how do you break down this running back situation in Denver? Javonte Williams was the dynasty sweetheart, but he may not even be ready for the start of the season. Now they've added Samaje Perine. Are you thinking similarly to Joey here?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Samaje Perine's going to be taking a bulk of the work early in the season, but I mean, I feel like Javante's got to be close to coming back. It's been mixed reports, and I mean, a rookie that I'm hoping goes there, despite that would be eating into Samaje Perine's work, is Tajay Spears.
Ooh.
Hot, man. I am, every time somebody says, I hope this player goes here, or I hope this team drafts this player, I'm getting so excited for this Thursday. I can't remember the last NFL draft where I felt this excited. Maybe it was the year Baker Mayfield went first overall, because there were a lot of question marks and smoke screens about what was going on there. Is it Josh Allen? Is it Josh Rosen? Is it Baker Mayfield? Saquon Barkley? Is he going to be a top 5 pick? This year is reminiscent of that one and just the mystery around it. I'm excited. Also, Scott Fish, and you're saying Joseph Wright fits in that puzzle as well. Joseph Wright fits a lot of places. Well, Joey, I
already get that though.
You are going to bank that money, earning you $500, and we are going to move on to puzzle number 2 here, which is the category rhyme time. So this is going to rhyme. It may be something like playing clarinet with Jacoby Brissett or drinking soda with Marcus Mariota. Generally going to follow that format. Joey, you got that last one right, which means you're going to go first. Are you ready for your first question?
Yeah. Sorry. That was a million miles. No, I was pretending like I was going to try to solve it, but I was just thinking about birds.
What kind of birds?
Little ones.
Yeah, my favorite birds are the ones that hop. All other birds are terrifying, but if they're too small to move their legs independently, then I'm a big fan. Like the ones that just like look like a little wind-up toy. Well, Joey, here is your first question.
Yep, let's do it.
Who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Was it Brandon Cooks or was it Deebo Samuel?
Deebo
is correct. Joey, 168.4 to Brandon Cooks, 145.6. Which letter would you like?
T is in Tom.
T is in Tom. There are 2 T's in this puzzle. Going to add 1K to your round bank. Would you like another question? Would you like to solve, or would you
I didn't ask for a K. I didn't ask for a K.
Well, you got a K.
Okay. I'd like a question, please.
Okay. Well, Joey, here's your second question. Who scored more PPR fantasy points last season? Who scored more PPR fantasy points? Was it Chris Godwin or was it Alan Lazard?
I'm going to go Lazard.
I'm sorry, it was Chris Godwin, 222.8 to Lazard's 174.8, which means John Luke.
Way off. I was way off.
On That's to you. It's a you, and it's your turn. Would you
Let's
have a
go.
question?
Question, please.
Okay. Who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Who had more PPR fantasy points? Was it DJ Moore or was it George Pickens?
Moore.
It was DJ Moore. JL, which letter would you like?
Let's go with an H.
You said that like an instruction, and I got like flustered for a second. Like, more what? An H as in, hey,
H.
You want an H?
Yeah, exactly like that.
Okay, there are 2 H's in this puzzle. John Luke, going to add a grand to your round bank. What's your move now?
I'll take another question.
Okay, my question for you is who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Was it Mac Hollins or was it Drake London?
Hate that question. I'll go with Drake London.
And Drake London would be correct, JL. Which letter would you like?
Give me an N.
An N. There's 1 N in this puzzle. Going to add 500. This is your last opportunity to buy vowels if you would like to do so.
I'll take another question.
Okay. Another question. My question for you is who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Was it Marquez Valdez-Scantling or was it Joshua Palmer?
Ooh, MVS.
I'm sorry, it was Joshua
No!
Palmer with 169.3 to MVS's 122.4, which means Chew, we're on to you. There's some letters on the board. Do you want to solve this or do you want to take a question?
Question.
Question. Here we go. Who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Was it Devonta Smith or was it Juju Smith-Schuster?
Devonta Smith.
Devonta Smith is absolutely correct.
Nice.
Which letter would you like?
I'm going to go with a W.
A W. There are 2 W's in this puzzle. Going to add $1,000 to your round bank. Would you like another question or would you like to buy a vowel or would you like to solve this puzzle?
I wanted the K, but Joey took it earlier. I'll go with another question.
Another question. Who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Was it Adam Thielen or was it Amari Cooper?
Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper is correct. Which letter would you like, Chew?
Dang, Chew.
Ooh, let me go S.
S. There are 2 S's in this puzzle. Going to add another $1,000. This will be your last opportunity to buy vowels this turn as we're heading into your 3rd question. Or you can take that 3rd question or you can solve the puzzle.
I'm going to go ahead and buy an I.
An I. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's going to subtract the max 500. Your options remain the same.
Let me go one more question.
Okay. Here's your final question. Get this right and get the letter. You are going to bank this money, taking a big lead early. Who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Was it Chris Olave or was it KJ Osborne?
Go Olave.
Olave is correct by about 40
Damn.
PPR fantasy points. Get this letter right, Chew. You're going to bank all this money. Which letter would you like?
R.
An R. There are 2 R's in this puzzle. We're going to add 1,000.
I think that
Chew,
was
you've got
hard.
5 seconds to solve, and then we're going to move on to the next contestant if you are unable to do so.
I'll ant myself. I have no idea.
Beautiful. Well, Chew, you're going to bank $2,500, and let me make sure I remember how much money these other 2 contestants have. Joey has 1,000, JL with 1,500, and Chew, you have 2,500 banked, but we are moving on to Joey. Joey, in a little bit of a hole here. Would you like a question? Would you like to solve, or would you like to buy
That
a
was
vowel?
rude. You didn't have to say I was on a hole. Like, I could easily solve this puzzle, and then they'll be in holes. It's very
That's
rude.
true.
Sorry.
And then
I need it.
instead of
I'd like
taking
to
it
request-
personally, you could just look at it as a matter of fact.
Can I challenge? Can I throw like the yellow flag, the red flag to challenge the host? Is that
Yeah, but I
is that a
review
thing
all
we can do?
challenges.
I'd like a
so,
question, please.
It's not a
Okay.
fair system that we've set up.
It's a completely unfair system. Joey, who had more PPR fantasy points last
Mhm.
season? Who had more PPR fantasy points? Was it Dalvin Cook or was it Ezekiel Elliott?
I got it. Ah,
Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook is correct. Joey, which letter would you like?
The G as in Warren G.
There are 2 G's in this puzzle. Going to add another $1,000. Joey, your options remain the same. What would you like to do?
I would like. Oh man.
get it wrong. Get it wrong. Get it wrong.
I had a question, please.
Okay. Here's my question for you, Joey. Who scored more PPR fantasy points last season? Who scored more PPR fantasy points? Was it Jonathan Taylor or was it Jerick McKinnon?
Jerick McKinnon.
Jerick McKinnon is correct.
He's
Jonathan
so
Taylor
tricky. Like
is so
he's
tricky.
the answer to everything. I would like to guess the letter L.
L. There's 1 L in this
Oh,
puzzle,
boy.
Joey. This is your last opportunity to buy vowels, or we can roll into your final question, or you can solve.
I'd like to buy an E.
An E as in everybody wants this letter. E. There are no E's in this puzzle, Joey. That is a bonk on a vowel, which
Oh,
means you're on
no.
to JL.
Oh no.
JL, you said you knew
Man.
this one.
I would like to solve
Okay.
Oh, I got it.
writing Mad Libs with Jahmyr Gibbs.
This is writing Mad Libs with Jahmyr Gibbs. John Luke, that's going to add that 1,500 to your round bank,
Ooh,
bringing you up
thank
to
you,
second
Joey.
place. And not making Joey's hole any
You're welcome.
bigger because you're in second, but just
sweet.
adding a little bit more insult to that.
It's already
hole
at
that
max
Joey's in.
bigness.
Yeah, already max big hole. Before we move on from this one, John Luke, I feel like Jahmyr Gibbs has been rising up draft boards as we approach the NFL draft. Is this a player that you think landing spot dependent we could see shoot up in rookie drafts?
Yeah, I mean, where the range that Jahmyr Gibbs is going in for sure is like pretty much everybody after the first few names in this rookie draft are going to be landing spot dependent, but the talent's there. So if the landing spot and the talent line up, that's where you make your money.
Chu, are you a Jahmyr Gibbs believer, or are you out on Jahmyr Gibbs?
I'm not out on him necessarily, but hearing rumblings that even some NFL evaluators are putting maybe he and Bijan maybe a 1A, 1B situation, I think is a bit rash. But I do think that Gibbs, despite being a bit slight in his size and frame and everything, I think is a pretty special back.
Yeah, it does. I get worried with the running backs that I feel like, especially the number 2 and 3 guys in a draft class, that as the draft approaches, feels like their draft position and value starts rising pretty heavily. Because I do feel like it kind of stems from, at least in fantasy, most of us are going to miss out on Bijan, right? Like 11 out of 12 people in every league are not getting Bijan in these dynasty drafts, or 9 out of 10. Who's the next best guy? You know what I mean? It starts just pushing their value up when there is a guy like Bijan. Well, I can't get Bijan. Maybe Jahmyr Gibbs is just as great at number 2. I don't need to take a quarterback here. I don't need to take JSN. That being said, sometimes it works out. Sometimes that number 2 guy is phenomenal. But sometimes you get a Royce Freeman or a Rashad Penny getting pushed up draft boards. Right, JL?
Yeah. Yes, Simon. We all know that Rashad Penny and Royce Freeman absolutely screwed me over.
Didn't you draft 3 running backs in the first round that year?
I forgot Ronald Jones.
And Ronald Jones. That's
to add to that nice duo.
I know that pain.
Yeah. 3 first-round picks that year. That was excellent. Good times.
That is a really good cautionary tale to everybody going all in on a single year's rookie draft. Oh, it's going to feel good after the draft, but 1 year later, it can be really sad.
Oh, that was like the first year I played Dynasty was that Alvin Kamara year. So it was a Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara year. So I was ruined. Absolutely ruined.
You were so hyped after the draft, though.
I was like, there's no way you can get a first-round rookie pick. Are you kidding me?
Also, we had some people in the chat get this one a little bit earlier. Scott said, waiting for Joey with Johnny Luke. So that almost rhymes. So close.
I hate that one.
Dan in here said, writing Mad Libs with Jahmyr Gibbs. Nice job, Dan.
Nice, Dan.
He also came in and said, play in the base with Jamar Chase a little bit earlier today.
Write that one down.
Whenever there was no letters in there, came in and got it. I think I saw Grim Fan in here with it as well. Yeah, Grim Fan coming in, getting that one too. Nice job, my friends. Nice
playing the base with Jamar Chase.
Playing the base.
Like
all right, well, Jail, you got that one right, which means we're going to move on to puzzle number 3. And Chu, you're going first on this one. This is a book player mashup. So this is going to take the title of a book and the name of an NFL player and smush them into one thing. We've done it with TV shows and movies like Tim, Patrick, and Morty, Boston Scott Pilgrim versus the World, Dude, Where's My Derek Carr? Just now it's with a book. And it should be a book that everyone's heard of before. I didn't do any weird books. Dude, you're up first. If I just did like some random like shitty sci-fi children's book I read in the 7th grade.
Yeah.
I'll say, well, I do joke with my wife that the only thing I read is the back of a cereal box. So hopefully it's not too crazy of a book. But I'll go with the question.
Gave away the book I did. Back of the Cheerios box.
Rice Krispies, that's right.
Does she laugh?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, here is your first question. We're going to switch it up a little bit here, and we're going to talk some rushing yards. What I want to know is which of these players had more rushing yards last season? Which of these players had more rushing yards last season? Was it Justin Fields or was it Jonathan Taylor?
Justin Fields.
Justin Fields is correct with over 1,100 yards. Which letter would you like, Chu?
I'm going to go with a T.
A T. There are 4 T's in this puzzle.
Oh, yeah.
Going to give you $2,000 into your round bank so far. You can choose to buy a vowel, solve this puzzle, or take your second question.
I would like to buy an E.
An E. There are 4 E's in this puzzle. Going to subtract 400 from your bank here. And your options remain the same yet again.
Let's go through another question.
One more question. Who had more rushing yards last season? Who had more rushing yards last season? Was it Ramondre Stevenson or was it Devin Singletary?
It has to be Ramondre, right?
It does have to be Ramondre.
Okay.
Which letter would you like, Chew?
I'm going to say H.
H. There are 4 H's. Some good
Whoa.
letters so far from you. Gonna add another 2K. This is your last opportunity to buy vowels if you would like to do so.
We're
You
getting
can take
hustled,
another
Joey.
question. Or, yeah, and Chew before the show was like, I don't know. I'm really bad at this game.
I don't even speak words.
And he said, I learned English 3 days ago.
And it's a beautiful language. And I do want to clarify, all this
Zero
money
applause.
is redeemable at the FF Expo bar, correct?
Yeah, as long as they
Yep.
take Cole's cash.
Okay.
As,
You know,
as,
just-
long, as
we've
long
already-
as they
Is there a
accept
fax
our
machine right there?
currency.
We've already mentioned it to
Probably.
Keith at the bar. And so if you just let him know that we sent you, it should be
Yeah.
no problem.
Got it. If you watch me being tossed out, you'll know what happened. I will go with another
We'll film
question.
it. We'll
Tell
film
him,
it. Don't worry.
tell him courtesy of the guy he made fun of for making him a dirty Shirley one time.
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
Keith. Yeah, Keith.
Yeah,
Shaming
Keith,
drinks.
suck it.
Yeah, shaming our drinks. Jail wants to drink a dirty Shirley. He can drink a dirty Shirley. Damn it.
Yeah, or a dirty Shirley.
Extra cherries. Huh?
Yeah, double
Keith?
maraschino.
And watch him tie it in a knot. Huh? Also, I just had to put this in here. Jay in here said the Bible Leonard Fournette at the very
Oh.
beginning. Pretty good, Jay. Very close. But here's your third and final question. Who had more rushing yards last season? Who had more rushing yards last season? Was it Latavius Murray or was it Deonta Foreman?
As a Panthers fan, I should know this, right?
Sometimes
go with
it's
my
the
guy,
things
Deonta
closest
Foreman.
to us. Well, Chew, you've gotten all 6 of your questions right so far. You're going to bank this money as long as the
Dang.
letter is right. It is Deonta Foreman. Which letter would you like?
Let's go with a. I don't want to be too weird. Let's go with an M.
M as in
What letter would you,
Mamma
would you say?
Mia.
That would be super.
I was just going to
weird.
make up a letter, see what's going to happen.
I'll go with squeak. Oh.
See, it's on the
M. There are no M's.
I
in
would
this
like to
puzzle,
solve.
no!
which means this is going to go on to Joey, and none of that money is going to get banked. Joey, you said you want to solve.
I would
this?
like to solve. Yes.
No.
What you
The
got, my friend?
catcher in the Ryan Tannehill.
Joey,
Ooh.
this is the catcher in the Ryan Tannehill. Nice job, my friend. Going to add $1,000 to your score, tying you up with JL and making that hole a little bit less deep.
Why do we keep letting Joey back
What
on
does
the show?
Chew have?
Oh yeah, let me.
How much money does Chew have? Your name's blocking it.
Yeah, sorry,
I think
that's
I
really important.
15. Oh, 20. Okay.
2,500. Okay.
Ah, that's better.
I keep getting
Yeah.
distracted. We keep talking about Joey's hole, so I completely blanked out for a second.
It happens.
Yeah, happens to all of us.
I
Can
get
I-
distracted on a daily basis by that.
It's massive.
Chew has 2,500. Joey and
Okay,
JL have
thank you.
1,500, and I cannot figure out how to make it show, but we'll fix that some other time.
Future
Dustin
problem.
in here, no letter solved, got the catcher in the Ryan Tannehill.
Nice.
Team Joey showing up for that puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Grim fan getting it as well. Nice job, guys. In the chat, just separating them.
Can
I
we
was going
rule
through
out
all
that
the
Team
Ryans, and
Joey
I
is,
finally landed
is
on it.
cheating?
Joey is cheating, yeah, but that's okay.
Team
We
Joey.
forgive it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Scampers in here said WTF is a dirty Shirley. JL, you want to enlighten them on what the delicious drink of dirty Shirley is?
Yeah, I feel like I don't often have to enlighten people with that. It's a Shirley Temple with vodka.
Vodka.
Cats probably don't drink a lot of vodka. That makes sense, actually.
And it is delicious. It is delicious.
Oh,
Before we
it's the
move
best
on
drink.
to our next question, we had a question in here from Grim Fan. He said, how do you guys like the Pittsburgh signing of Miles Boykin and the Giants signing of Ashawn Robinson? Does this boost either team at all? Chew, do either of these signings move the needle for you for the Giants or the Steelers?
I mean, I have to say no. I know that probably Miles Boykin being the bigger name of the two, but I cannot believe that this does much of anything.
I tend to agree with you. Joey, I see you nodding your head. Full agreement.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not excited. It's not doing much for either of these teams for me.
Can you imagine like being Miles Boykin and watching Joey just go like,
I guess.
thanks. I'm just
I'm
not
good.
really excited. Know what I mean? Not even like no, it's not going to be good. It's just like I'm fucking over it, man. It's just another Steelers wide receiver, whatever. Well, Joey, you got that one right. 1,500 buckaroos, some potential Coles cash. It's like Coles cash potential energy waiting down there for you. We're going to move on to our next puzzle. What's up, Joey?
Before we move on, I know the category is books, and this wasn't the book that was mentioned, but I had my first Little Women experience this last weekend. Like, I watched the movie Little Women, which is a book, I'm told, and I really, really liked it. I had strong opinions and strong feelings after watching it. My wife
the
thought it
movie
was
good?
very funny. What'd you say?
The 2019 one?
Yeah,
that you
the one
watched?
Greta Gerwig directed. I really, really liked it. Okay,
I've not
that's all.
watched it yet, but
But the
Joey,
book apparently is good too. So go read Little Women.
supposedly the classic Little Women is almost as good as the movie.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see if it holds up. I never really believe them. Our next category here is fantasy football terms. This is going to be just terms that are related to fantasy football, either directly, tangentially, but they're all words you've heard before in conversations around fantasy football. Whenever you tell me the answer, just tell me all 5 words on the screen. It doesn't matter the order. As long as the 5 words are correct, you're going to get points for this. Joey got that last one correct, right? Which means John Luke, you are up first with this one. Are you ready for your first question?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. John Luke, who had more rushing yards last season? Who had more rushing yards last season? Was it Najee Harris or was it David Montgomery?
Najee.
Najee's correct with 1,000 and something compared to David Montgomery's not 1,000 and something. I lost the numbers.
There you go.
But those are that's a true fact. Which letter would you like, JL?
Give me the P.
Give me the P. 1 second. I gotta define the value of the P.
Okay.
There we go.
P's worth
There's 1 P in
Oh,
this.
little P down there.
1 P in the bottom. JL, would you like
right.
another question? Would you like another question? Would you like to buy a vowel? Or would you like to solve this puzzle?
I would like another question, please.
Okay, here is your question. Who had more rushing yards last season? Who had more rushing yards last season? Was it Travis Etienne or was it Alvin Kamara?
Ooh, rushing?
Rushing.
Etienne.
Etienne is correct, JL, with 1,125 to Kamara's 897. Which letter would you like?
Let's go with an F.
An F is in fart.
Yep.
Well,
Bonk.
fuck, there's none of those.
An F as in F.
Did you subconsciously choose an F because there's an F in the puzzle? Like it looks like an F?
No.
Ooh.
Did you?
I was going to. I
It
thought
kind of
that
looks
was a
like.
hint.
Well, Chew, we are on to you. Would you like a question? Would you like to solve this, or that's all you can do? You can try to buy a vowel, but I'll tell you no.
If you're gonna tell me no, I won't waste my time. I'll go ahead. Go with the question.
Okay. Here's
Good
your
call.
next question. We're gonna go with some receiving yards here. Who had more receiving yards last season? Who had more receiving yards? Was it Travis Kelce or was it T. Higgins?
Ooh. Whenever it's the cross position. Kelsey?
Kelce is correct with 1,338 to T. Higgins 1,029. Which letter would you like,
Ooh.
Chew?
I'm gonna go with L.
L.
Oh.
There are no L's.
Well, there's an L in the
this
puzzle.
puzzle.
It was Joey's thought. There was the F, so I thought the L would
There's
work.
an L in
F.
it. It actually says F1, and we're
That's
promoting
what
the upcoming race. I'm just
That
kidding.
is what I thought it said.
Joey, we're back to you. Would you like a question? Would you like to solve, or
I would.
like to
I
make an
guess I'm gonna
animal?
take a question because my competitors here have done nothing to help me today.
well, who had more
this
receiving
one.
yards last year?
I gave you a
Joey?
P in the bottom.
He did. Who had more receiving yards last year, Joey? Who had more receiving yards? Was it Christian Kirk or was it Mark Andrews?
Christian Kirk.
Christian Kirk is correct. Which letter would you like, Joe?
I almost said L. I'm glad.
Yeah, do that.
R.
Yeah, do that.
R is in really? You want an R?
Yeah.
There are 2 R's in this
Ooh,
puzzle.
yeah,
Going to
two.
add
Two.
1K.
Rip.
Okay, Joey, what are you doing now?
I really hope drips one of the words. I will buy an O as in octopus.
There are 2.
That's what that word was.
I wish
There are
everybody
2.
said octopus like that. Octopus.
Okay.
Let's start a new language. It's just like English, but octopus is pronounced differently. We'll put it on Duolingo. All the lessons are the same except for one. Octopus.
The easiest language to learn on Duolingo. That's how we'll market it.
When people come over to your house and you act like you can't understand them at all, they're like, sorry, I only speak octopusian. Whose turn is it?
Mine. I'm still
it's Joey's
guessing
turn.
letters. I will take a question, please.
Okay, Joey, this is your second question, correct?
Number
Who had
2.
more receiving yards last season? Who had
Mhm.
more receiving yards last season? Was it George Pickens or was it TJ Hawkinson?
Receiving yards.
Yes.
TJ Hawkinson.
TJ Hawkinson is correct, Joey. Nice job, my friend. Which letter would you like?
Give me the D.
Give me the D, and there is one
Ew.
D in this puzzle. Going
Okay.
to add 500. Joey, this is your last opportunity to buy vowels if you would like to do so, or we can move on to your third and final question.
I want to move on to the next
Okay.
question.
Okay, here is your third and final question. Who had more receiving yards last season? Who had more receiving yards last season? Was it Darius Slayton or was it Jacoby Myers?
Jacoby Myers.
Jacoby Myers is correct. Joey, by about 80 yards, relatively
Oh,
close.
thanks for making it close. Appreciate that. I'm gonna buy a T.
You can just have one, and I'll pay you for
Oh,
it. Even.
3 of them.
$1,500. Well, Joey, you got 5 seconds to solve this puzzle, or we are moving on to the next competitor here.
I just want to say I think everyone on the show today looks absolutely beautiful. And I'm glad that we're all here. Thank you.
A bonk in the middle of a compliment. John Luke, it is your turn. What do you want to do, buddy?
I'll take a
Bank that.
question, bud.
Oh, that's right. Joey also banks this money, and I'll make sure you get your 500 in there, John Luke. Okay, who had more receiving yards last season, JL? Who had more receiving yards? Was it David Njoku or was it Christian McCaffrey?
McCaffrey.
McCaffrey's correct, JL. Which letter would you like?
I will take an N.
And then as in no.
Yep.
Okay.
No!
All right, Chu, that means we are on to you.
Dang
Which
it.
letter would you like? And that's too bad because you got to answer a question first.
All right. I thought you were going to answer with yes. That's okay. Let's see. Yeah, I'll go with the question.
Okay. Question for you. Who had more receiving yards last season? Who had more receiving yards last season? Was it Alec Pierce or was it Keenan Allen?
I hope it was Keenan Allen.
It was Keenan Allen. In only 10 games, he got it done. Which letter would you like to?
So dumb.
Could I do a S?
You could do an S, and there's one of those going to add 500.
So smart.
Would you like to buy a vowel?
All right.
Would you like another question, or would you like to solve this puzzle?
I will buy a vowel. I will take an I.
An I. There is one I in this puzzle. Going to subtract 100. You can no longer buy vowels, but your other options remain the same. Ooh.
I'm a glutton for punishment. I'll take another question.
Okay. Here's your next question. Who had more receiving yards last season? Who had more receiving yards? Was it Evan Ingram or was it Mike Williams?
Mike Williams.
I think that's every question right so far, Chu. It is, in fact, Mike Williams. Which letter would you like?
Oh, I feel like I should already know it, and I don't. I will go with a H.
An H. There are no H's
Uh-oh.
in this puzzle, which means we're
Dang.
moving on to Joey.
Uh-oh.
Joey, what would you like to do here?
Because I banked my money, I can't buy vowels. So I'm gonna take a question.
Okay, my question for you. Who had more receiving touchdowns last season? Who had more receiving touchdowns last year? Was it Terry McLaurin or was it Christian Kirk?
Receiving touchdowns.
Indeed.
Christian Kirk.
That is correct, Joey. Which letter would you like?
B.
B.
B. Yeah.
There's one B in this puzzle, going to add 500. Joey, would you like to buy a vowel? Would you like another question? Or would you like to solve?
Man, I've got them all except one. I'm gonna buy an A.
You'd like an A?
Yeah.
Well, there are two A's in this puzzle, Joey. Going to subtract 200. Would you like to solve? Would you like another question? You can't buy a vowel because you're poor.
Oh, okay, Joey, I'm gonna solve. Why did I say my name?
Joey.
Sorry. Breakout, bust, stack, tier, drop.
Breakout, bust, stack, tier, drop is correct, Joey. Going to earn you another $1,000.
Stack was tough. I couldn't get that one.
And that's
but
the one
I did get
the chat was stuck on as well. They got most of this pretty early. Dustin and Graham both with breakout, bust, start, drop, tier. And it wasn't until Grim Fan came in here a little bit later with the stack and Dustin with the stack too, right around the same time as you getting it, Joey. Nice job, guys.
Guys?
Feel good, Joey?
Yeah, I feel really great. I don't know why you said guys. I mean, I guess they did get some letters for me, so yeah, appreciate that, guys.
All right, well, guys, we are moving on to our next puzzle, and this one is a movie player mashup. So this is going to be a movie and a player jammed into one thing. If you get it right, then you get the points, and if you get it wrong, then it sucks. Joey, you got that one right, which means JL, it is your turn to go first. Would you like a question, or would you like to solve this?
Question.
Okay, my question for you is: who had more receiving touchdowns last season? Who had more receiving touchdowns last season? Was it Tyler Boyd or was it Brandon Ayuk?
Ayuk.
Ayuk is correct, JL. Which letter would you like?
Let's go with an N.
N. There are 3 N's in this puzzle. Good start. Going to give you 1,500. What's next?
I'll take another question.
Okay, another question. We're going to move over John Luke. And what I want to know is which of these teams ran more plays last season? So which of these teams ran more offensive plays during the 2023 NFL season? Was it the Minnesota Vikings or was it the Seattle Seahawks?
Let's go with the Seahawks.
I'm sorry, it was the Minnesota Vikings, number 6 in the league by that metric. Tougher questions, but Chew, we are on to you. Would you like a question or would you like to solve this puzzle?
I am no guru. I will take a question.
What I want to know is which of these teams ran more plays last season, more total offensive plays? Was it the Arizona Cardinals or was it the Las Vegas Raiders?
I'm going to say the Raiders.
I'm sorry, it was the Arizona Cardinals, number 3 in that category. One of the most plays in the league, which means, Joey, we're on to you. You're going to get another one of these types of questions if you want one.
Yep.
Okay. Joey, who ran more plays last season? Who ran more offensive plays? Was it the Miami Dolphins or was it the Philadelphia Eagles?
Miami Dolphins.
I'm sorry, it was the Philadelphia
like they were a
Eagles,
trick.
number
Okay.
5 in the
Got
league. Hey, you know what? We're back to where we started. It's like those questions never even happened. John Luke, are you ready for your
Go.
next question? Would you like to buy a
Let's
vowel or
go.
would you like to solve?
I'll take another question.
Okay. My question for you, John Luke, is which one of these players had more passing yards last season? Which of these players had more passing yards? Was it Trevor Lawrence or was it Kirk Cousins?
Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins is correct by about 400 passing yards. Which letter would you like, JL?
Let's go with a G.
There's 1 G in this puzzle. Going to add another 500. What's
Sweet.
next?
Let's take another question.
Okay. My question for you, John Luke, is which of these players had more targets? Which of these players had more targets last season? Was it Joe Mixon or was it Samaje Perine?
Mixon.
Mixon is correct with 75 to Perine's
God,
51. Which letter would you
I
like,
was going to be
JL?
right. I was going to be so mad. Let's go with an S.
You were going to Perine on me if it was Perine. There's
Nice.
2 S's in that puzzle. Going to add another grand. John Luke, this is your last opportunity to buy vowels if you would like to do so.
Nah, let's take another question.
Okay. Another question, John Luke. Get this one right. You are going to add all of this money as long as that letter is right. Get it wrong, and we're going to be taking it all away. Who had more rushing touchdowns last season? Who had more rushing touchdowns last season? Was it Tony Pollard or was it Ramondre Stevenson?
Oh, no. Pollard.
Pollard is correct by a decent margin. I believe 9-5, if I'm not mistaken. Which letter would you like, JL?
Let's go with a P.
This is to bank the money. You want to go with a P?
Yeah.
Okay, there's 1 P in this puzzle. Going to add 500. John Luke, you've got 5 seconds to solve this puzzle.
I don't know.
Okay, which means, Chew, we are moving on to you. Would you like a question or would you like to solve this?
Question, please.
Okay, my question for you is who had more rushing touchdowns last season? Who had more rushing touchdowns last season? Was it Taysom Hill or was it Ezekiel Elliott?
Ezekiel Elliott.
Ezekiel Elliott had 12 to Taysom Hill 7. He had 7 rushing touchdowns.
Ooh.
Which letter would you like, Chew?
I will go with a T.
A T. There's 1 T in this puzzle. Going to add 500. You can buy a vowel, you can solve, or you can take another question. What would you like to do?
Let's see. I will take another question.
Okay. Another question. Who had more rushing yards last season? Who had more rushing yards last season? Was it Aaron Jones or was it Raheem Mostert?
And what was the stat? That was
Rushing yards.
yards. Oh, Jones?
Aaron Jones is correct. Which letter would you like to?
I'll go with an H.
H. There are 2 H's in this puzzle. Going to add another grand. This is your last opportunity to buy vowels this turn if you'd like to do so, or we can roll straight into that third and final question.
I'll go ahead and buy an E.
Okay, an E. There are 2 E's in this puzzle. Going to subtract 200.
Okay.
Your options remain the same.
I'm not that smart, so I'm going to go with the third question.
Okay, here's your third and final question to bank this money. Who had more receiving yards last season? So this that is receiving yards. Who had more receiving yards last season? Was it DJ Moore or was it Garrett Wilson?
So dumb.
Garrett
You
Wilson?
dumb boy.
Garrett Wilson is correct. Which letter would you like to? Just to bank this money.
F?
An F. There is 1 F in this puzzle. Going to add 500. You're going to bank all of this, but you got a little bit to try to solve it as well. I'm going to give you 5 seconds to try to solve. Which means we are moving on to Joey, but all of that money is banked, bringing your score up to 4,300. It's a close game. Joey,
He never banked my money.
were you supposed to bank that money?
Mhm.
Did you get a question wrong? Or
You
a
got
letter?
them all right.
Oh,
Got 'em all right.
Well, there you go, Jay.
Thanks.
We got a close game all around. Joey, it's your turn. Would you like a question? Would you like to solve, or would you like
Man,
to quit?
I'll tell you. I want a question.
stalling.
I feel like I have something, but
I got it. Not to put the pressure on Joey, but to put the pressure on.
I feel it.
Okay, well, Joey, what I want to know is which of these players had more targets last season? Which of this player had more targets last season? Was it Michael Pittman Jr. or was it Cortland Sutton?
Pittman.
Pittman is correct. 141 to 109. Which letter would you like?
M.
An M. There's 1 M in this puzzle. Going to add 500. What would you like to do now, Joey? Would you like another question? Would you like to solve? Would you like to buy a vowel?
No. I want to buy the O.
The O. There are 2 O's in this puzzle. Going to subtract 200. Joey, Joe, Joseph. I'm gonna move on to
Okay,
a question.
I'm gonna take a question.
Okay.
God, what the?
My question for you, Joey, is who had
Oh,
more
man.
targets last year? Who had more targets this past season? Was it Evan Ingram or was it Tyler Lockett?
Tyler Lockett.
Tyler Lockett had 117 to Evan Ingram's 98. That's correct. Which letter would you like, Joey?
R.
An R. There's 1 R in this puzzle. Going to add 500. Joey, this is your last opportunity to buy vowels this turn, or we can go into your third and final question.
I'm gonna buy the A.
Okay. There are 3 A's in this puzzle. Going to subtract 300. What's it going to be, Joey? Would you like to buy a vowel? Would you like another question, or would you like to solve?
Just take 10, 15 more minutes. It's fine.
Okay, I could buy more vowels.
Yeah, if you would like to.
The
One
I.
more. There's 1 I in this puzzle, Joey.
Why
and that is
can't I-
all you're getting. We are going to move into that third and
Okay,
final question.
solve.
Okay.
Solve. I just couldn't sound it out in my head right. Jamar. Why am I blanking? Jamar Jameson of the Penguins. Jamar Jameson of the Penguins.
I'm sorry,
I
Joey.
got it.
That is incorrect. That is not
why
the
am I-
correct
It's
answer.
Jamar Jameson of the Penguins.
Yeah.
It was Jamar Jameson of the Penguins.
Which means, JL, it is your turn, and it sounds like you think you know the answer to this one.
Yeah, I know it. I can't believe you bungled this one, Joey. Lamarch Jackson of the Penguins.
It is Lamarch Jackson
Fine.
of the Penguins. The play on March of the Penguins.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I didn't miss the movie parts. That's all I care about. So
Jay Wall in here laughing it up. Dustin says Joey is broken. And Scamper said, "Oh no, Joey."
No, this one's not as bad as Najee Risky Business. This is fine, guys.
Also,
Oh my god.
Scampers came in here, got it first, and people are like, "That's wild." Dustin said, "And it's horrible." Scamper says, "That's
So bad.
gross."
Lamar
Grim fan
Jackson,
came in
Vegas.
here and got it as well. So nice job, Grim and
Nice.
Scampers, for figuring out Lamar
To
Jackson
address
of
the cheating
Penguins.
accusations that were made earlier in the show as Team Joey cheating, I think we all know that I was not cheating.
Well, JL, that's going to add $1,000 to your round bank. Before we move on from here, though, I did want to talk a little bit about Lamar Jackson. Chew, your name is Father Dynasty, a dynasty guy. What's going on with Lamar Jackson's dynasty value? With there's a little bit of uncertainty about where he's going to be next year.
Well, I think Lamarch is a hell of a quarterback. And you know what? I mean, with a lot of uncertainty, I know he's not necessarily on the younger side when it comes to a mobile quarterback, but I also don't think, with the last, say, 2 seasons and there'd be a string of injuries, I can understand why his value is suppressed and there's been some issues getting re-signed in Baltimore, but I don't see how he's anywhere but Baltimore. I think they really have control of him and he can want to go somewhere else and get paid, but I just don't think that's going to happen.
John Luke, I feel like you've been agreeing with Chew throughout this offseason is there's all this smoke, but when it's done, he's probably going to end up back in Baltimore.
I don't necessarily think that it's a sure thing or a given. I do think it's the most likely outcome, but yeah, we could see after the draft a team come and entice Lamar away. I think the draft is really going to be telling because that's when we'll start to see teams start to get desperate.
Yeah, these teams that need a quarterback and have a shot at Bryce Young, or there's now rumors that CJ Stroud is going to fall, and maybe a team is in love with CJ Stroud. They're not agreeing with him coming draft fall. Why would they go and give up 2 firsts for Lamar Jackson right now? They're going to wait till the day after the draft if they're going to be making moves like that. Joey, do you love Lamar or do you hate him?
I love Lamar. I
Okay,
just
cool.
wish he was
Just
on a
checking.
team where he was going to play, and we knew that, and the weapons around him were solidified. I would love him more, but I think he's an incredible talent, and I can't wait to see where he plays this year. I want to be petty for a second, though.
Yeah. Petty it up.
Does JL get an extra 1,000 even though he banked the money?
Yeah,
Well, because he banked the money from a previous round of questions.
That's great.
You know what I mean?
That's well done, JL, with your point
Thank
total.
you.
You did a good job.
Thank you.
I just wanted to make
Thank
sure
you.
those rules were those. Yeah.
That we were following the rules.
Joe goes, excuse me, I want to make sure I didn't actually win. I just wanted to check real quick that you don't have the winner incorrect down there. J-Wall said, I love Joey. Give him a
I love you,
break.
J-Wall.
And Dustin said Joey was skipping like a record trying to pronounce
No.
it like
I was
that.
not even close, guys. Like
Jamar Chasian of the Penguins.
it wasn't a pronunciation issue. This wasn't a Quentin Johnston thing it was just Joey's dumb. So.
It's just Joey's done. Well, John Luke, that is going to make you the champion of today's game of Fantasy Fortune. Congratulations, JL. How does it feel?
It feels fantastic.
And Chew, you talked like you weren't going to come in here and show up, and I don't think you missed a single trivia question the entire time. Got them all right, and 4,300 was enough to win 80% of our Fantasy Fortune games.
But I do suck at puzzles, apparently. And I think that's the whole point of this game.
He's like, I at least told a half truth. Well, guys, that is going to be it for us today. We want to give a big thanks to our guest, Chew, who came on, hung out with us, and played some games. If you are not already following our friend Chew, go and fix that right now. You can find him on Twitter at Father Dynasty. It's right there below his handsome face and the sign that says the manhole on his screen.
Manhole.
Make sure you follow.
Yeah,
What is the manhole?
So it was a
Joey's hole?
I now realize I knew this a long time ago. I knew it'd be referenced later on a podcast. So my previous studio was basically a large closet, and my wife said it can be your man cave. And I was like, it's more like a manhole.
That's disrespectful.
And then she got a neon sign that says manhole. But then I got relocated to a real room, so now I just have the manhole in my real room.
Manhole, I love it.
Now you have a big manhole.
Now you have a big manhole.
A gaping manhole. Guys, if you want to hear more about Chew's gaping manhole, go and follow him on Twitter at Father Dynasty. You'll see it all over the place over there. And if you want to see more of us and you're watching this on our YouTube channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button on Front Yard Fantasy. We are here every day, Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern time for the Fantasy Football Game Show. Playing games just like this. We've got more games coming your way this week. Jeopardy, Poll Perception. So make sure you're sub not to miss any of those. That is going to be it for us today, though. Joey, any Any life advice before we jump off?
No, I have a mystery that I would like to present you guys. Some reason it says Simon is a tit on this paper, and I don't remember writing that.
Get on
weird.
it.
Yeah.
Front yard
So,
again. See if you can solve that
Get on
mystery
it,
for
chat.
us.
You guys are good at solving mysteries. Why does it say this on my paper?
Who is being mildly mean to Simon?
I don't.
We'll have to figure it out.
We don't even live in the same city. But life advice, guys, read Little Women. It will. I feel like a new man because I watched Little Women, which I mean, I basically read Little Women.
I was going to say read Little Men coming from the guy who watched the movie this week.
Yeah,
but I mean, it was like it's like the same thing, right? Like,
well, guys, before we go, I do want to remind everyone that before you go, if you're here on BSN watching this, you can have the BSN newsletter sent to you every single day in your inbox. Register at bettersports.com. You might see some of our pretty faces in there, and you can get some of the NFL news coming your way every morning in your inbox. As we're getting ready for draft season, you don't want to miss out on that. That is going to be it for us today. We'll be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Another big thanks to Chew. Thanks to everybody in the chat who came and played along with us. We'll see you at 3 p.m. tomorrow. Adios, everyone.
bye, everybody. Enjoy your Mondays.
No.
Yeah.